Notice how casually I sit here. And no, this is 7 Up, so no worries. Hi everyone, this is Kim, and I'm doing this video as the final video here in Chicago. That's right, I am moving, and in going with this move, I am changing a lot of things about my gardening channel, and specifically I'm moving all of my gardening videos away from Mar de Cortez Chili Company, because that's a competition name for going to chili competitions. So instead of having that be there, I am going to have the videos be "This is a garden," which might be better termed as "This is a garden." Um, that's one thing, and certainly it makes sense because I'm not a professional gardener, even though I was raised by a professional gardener, and my tongue is just not working tonight, and a agricultural expert. My grandfather taught me everything I knew about gardening, and most of which I still know, but most of it was outdoors, and I'm not used to growing indoors, so this is an experiment. In addition, on a more somber note, I am dedicating my garden work to a little girl that I lost recently. Some of you may know that I was pregnant briefly for about 4 months, and I lost my little girl, and my little girl's name was Taisley, and I don't really have anything physical to remember her by, and I figure that one of the best things I can do for her is to do something that celebrates life, and my garden celebrates life, and so I'm dedicating this to Taisley Lina Panettone, and going forward with it. Enough somber. Right, okay, enough somber, moving forward. I am moving, as you know, to somewhere out of Chicago, and what you may not know is that somewhere is in Indiana, southern Indiana to be specific. What's cool about this is that moving to Indiana puts me in a different growing zone. Now here in Chicago, I am in 6 and 6B sort of ish thing. Whenever I check, it always gives me a different answer, but it's always one of those two things. I'll be moving down to 5 or 5B, depending on who you ask. And this is good because I'll have a longer growing season for plants that I want to grow outdoors, and a lot more sunlight, and just really good stuff. I'm moving a little further. I guess it's not too much further east, if it even is, but it's definitely farther south. And so it'll be different, but I'm going to be living in a house that has wonderful space outside, and I'm really excited about that. I'm also going to have ample room to set up an actual grow room, or at least a half of a grow room of the room that I'm going to be using. It'll be really nice. I'm really excited about it. And I just found out today that that is really a go as far as the grow room. So I can take these lights, which, you know, they just do a remarkable job. I mean, look at this. This garlic is really picky, and if it doesn't get the right amount of light, this, instead of being here, will be way down here. So garlic is really weird that way. It's finicky, but I love it, and I love the taste of these garlic greens. Leaves, greens, no, I call them greens. Also today, I did some rearranging in the garden here. I took the big green planter that was here down, and I transplanted this New Mexico chili from it into here, and there was nothing else left in the container. That little purpley leafy thing turned out to be a weed of some sort, so that's not a worry for me, and I was able to, you know, recycle the soil and do all kinds of fun stuff with that. Nothing, you know, or very little at the least going to waste, and so that is where I am now. And I'm really excited to take all of these with me. I know there's going to be a bit of a shock when they get there, but, you know, we'll adapt. It's warm enough that they should be okay to be transported as we move down. A couple of things I want to show you. Firstly, I want to show you these lights in a different in a different light, as it were. So take a look at this. Let me show you these lights up close and personal. Now, we've all seen the lights when they were on illuminating so well over here with the wonderful light they've been shining on all of my plants. And I've even taken some video to show the size, but that didn't really come out so well. So let's take a look at the lights themselves. Now, this pole I have from my photography days, and it is meant to hold a bunch of lights and a photography umbrella. And since I'm able to get this mount for this pole, I can put these lights on here, and I get a really awesome little rig. Now, I'm going to try and move this around so you can see without... I'm sorry about the shaky camera moves here. But this is the light setup, and what's really awesome about it, at least I think it's awesome, sorry about that, is that I have control over each light. So if I choose to turn one on, well, look at the thing being blown out. Okay, I can do them individually and it will be just fine. Now, again, these are really big, and this is a standard light socket. Now look how big this is in comparison to my hands. This thing is huge. I actually have 3 of these, but only 2 of them are being used to light my garden area right now, because given how small this area is and what I have in it, there isn't a lot to give to take up all of the extra light if I was to put all 3 in here. And I do have the means to put all 3 in here, I just haven't. But this is what this looks like, and it is really doing well for my plants. I mean, if you look here, even my garlic loves it. My garlic has been growing really, really well, tall and strong, and like I say, I can barely fit this in it. It is over a foot tall, and I love it. And I love chopping off the greens as I've done right here, and actually just chewing on it. I love the flavor, I do. But, you know, I mean, the plants are really flourishing in it. I mean, goodness sakes, look at the size of that sandia right there in the middle, and the size of the San Marzanos right there. I mean, this is just helping so much. And even back here, goodness sakes, I haven't looked at this in a little bit. The size of this big gem is the flowers. The leaves are getting so large. I can't believe it. And even down in some of my other stuff, like the serrano that's down here, this is the golden sunray tomato. At least it should be. Yep, golden sunray tomato. Scotch bonnets. Let's see, what is this? This is sage, and back there is Thai basil. So yeah, this setup is really, really helping, and it's really helping too with the hello new worm casting bucket. It's really helping too with the Numex Heritage 6-4 pepper that I have been dying to grow. I don't know why. This pepper just fascinates me, and hopefully when I have a fully fruit-producing plant, I can tell you why. I don't know. It just grabbed my attention the first time I read about it. So, welcome back to the gardening area, and these are the lights. Pretty cool, huh? These lights are huge, and they put out a lot of energy and a lot of good area light, as opposed to the different lights that I had before, where I had the LED bulb back here that had red and blue bulbs in it that were really good for getting plants started, but didn't really provide a lot of area and a lot of output. LED bulbs are expensive, and you know, with the way that the energy cost and everything balances out, for my money, and this is just me, I prefer the compact fluorescent bulbs as a general rule at this point. And if you saw my earlier film on switching to CFL, you'll understand a little bit more about that, where I talk about the other lights. However, that LED light is in the propagation area where I have the seeds that I've planted, you know, in a warm environment with humidity and light, you know, low light, of course, but the right type of light, and that's actually where the grow lamp is. So here, let me show you that really quick, and then we'll talk a little bit more about something really exciting that came in the mail. So these are the hard drives where I usually have the propagation tray sitting, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I want you to look at the light here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to show you that this light, I've adjusted the white balance so that you can see the different colors as they actually come out of the light. So here you've got the reds and the blues, so you actually see what's coming out there. Now, I know the rest of it's kind of out of balance, but in this light, when you zoom back out and look at the other things, except for the whites, you can see inside the area where the light casts, it's a really good looking light. And the propagation tray just sits over the 3 hard drives right there, and it doesn't leak. I'm really, really proud of it. So, I know that's weird, right? Looking at the purple and looking at the way that the propagator is set up. And again, yes, it is on hard drives. Now, the enclosed hard drives are fine. The other hard drive is pretty much dead anyway, and I have it running disk utilities that keep the area warm, and there has been no leaks over there. And that's one advantage of having the little peat discs that I'm using for seed starting right now. It's just fine, and I don't have a problem with it. And I don't have a problem with using those. In fact, there are 2 things that I do with those. I either plant them into the cup that I have for the next stage, or I open them up, rinse off the roots gently, and I take the bulk of the peat from it and put it into my vermicasting bin. And, well, it's not a bin, it's a bucket, but you get the idea. And I use it there. So nothing is really, going to waste in this place, and the worms are going to love it, and I'm really excited about that. I haven't received the worms yet, but they're on their way, as I understand, and should be here before I have to move. And I'm coordinating with a person who is sending me those really good worms. I've seen the project that they're doing out there in Colorado, and the worms are really good. So I'm really excited about that. So the other thing I wanted to show you was my having been part of a seed exchange group. I actually sent some chili seeds, some Manzano Rocoto Orange, right? If not, I'll put it underneath, but if that's what it is, then I got it right. And I sent 10 seeds to a fellow, and he sent me back a bounty of seeds, way more than I expected, but apparently he'd had a hard time finding these seeds, so I'm really appreciative. And I want to show you a couple of different things. Let me show you the envelope first. Now, normally you do not send seeds in a standard mailing envelope, but what he did, he knows about the mail system, and apparently he's done this before, so please hand sort, all in big bold letters, as big as that pen will get. Anyway, and then on the inside of the card that he sent me, which I think is cool, I got a card. You? Who would be sending mail to you? Right. So all of the seeds are taped to the upper inside portion of the card, and I'll show you that here. I think this is incredibly sweet. This is a thank you card, and I never get thank you cards. I think this is just so adorable, and I love cats anyway, so this works out. And look, there are, come here, there are seeds, and this packet contains 2 sets of seeds. So let's go over what I've got, and I've looked these up because these are really, really, really cool. I have a snowflake cherry tomato, which is kind of cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And this next one is just exciting. It is the OSU for Oregon State University blue tomato. And when I looked this up, I found a really large beefy tomato with purple skin and purple flesh. I looked at the pictures of the inside of it, and it's purple. Who wouldn't want a purple tomato? That is absolutely cool. So I'm really excited about that. Then he sent me red boot jolokia seeds and Trinidad scorpion seeds, and to finish things off, zinnia, which are a flower. And if you look it up online, it's a really beautiful bloom. So thank you to Don for the seeds, and I am really looking forward to growing them. And as soon as I get moved, I will be planting a few of them. And I think it's going to be the purple tomato first, because I'm really excited to see that. And then we'll move on to some of the other stuff. And the zinnia might even go outside, so it will work out really well. So thank you, Don. And wow, there's just so much going on that this week I had to film this video. You're seeing this on Monday, even though it won't be uploaded until later this week, just because I didn't have time the rest of this week with all of the moving stuff going on, the preparations, the packing. There's just not enough time in a day anymore. I'm really looking forward to getting to the new place and sleeping for 3 days, or something like that. You know what I mean. But everything here is going really well, and the transplants today went really well. Like I said, this is the big one, and it's not really in a lot of shock from what I can see. I had it in lower light earlier after I had transplanted it, and it seems to be doing just fine after having transplanted. I know a friend of mine recommends that when you transplant them, keep them out of direct light for about a day, and that may be good advice. That just isn't what I did, and at the moment it's working out all right. These are the 6.4s, and the funny thing about the 6.4, I actually am not sure, maybe some of you can answer this. If you've ever grown a New Mex Heritage 6-4 chili pepper, let me know if you have experience with this, because what I have found, when this sprouted, it popped up and the hull of the seed was still on it, and it wasn't coming off. I gave it some time, and the plant started to suffer for it. So I had to do some really delicate surgery and get the hull off of the leaves. Now, I tried this with another 6.4, and that one didn't make it, but I know what happened there, and that's okay. So I planted some new 6.4 seeds, and I soaked them for about 2 days before I planted them. Now, some people say this is good, some people say it doesn't do anything. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out if it made a difference, because it's really difficult to have to do surgery on these when the stems are so frail at that really early stage. But then again, if you don't get the leaves out, they don't get light, and they'll die anyway. So, you know, what do you do? So if you have any experience with New Mex Heritage 6-4 chili peppers, let me know. Let me know if you've had this problem, if you found a solution for it. In the meantime, it is getting late here, so I've got to get going, but I hope you enjoy the video, and there's a special thing at the end of this, so stick around. At least I think it's special because it amuses me, so if you stick around, you'll see something that amuses me. Anyway, I gotta go, so y'all have a good night, have a good week, and I will see you either from the road to Indiana or once I'm there in Indiana. This is Kim. This is a garden. We're out of here. This is a garden? You know, aside from the sirens that go by here, it's been relatively quiet today, but this has been our weather, and aside from the dirty window, I'm sorry about that, the management doesn't really clean the outside, and I don't blame that on them, but the weather has been bleh, and, you know, the sun just has not been existent. This is the other reason why I have these such intense grow lamps in here, is because I only have space on this east-facing window, and there's not a lot of sun until the summer anyway, and spring is always weird around here. And if I'm growing things like tomatoes and chilies, I got to be careful. I got to have a lot of sun. Peppers need full sun, and tomatoes like it too, and certainly herbs and whatnot. But it's just a mess out there. Hi, Seagull. And actually, this might be kind of funny for you. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. There is right, let me see if I can get this, whoops, right there in the foliage, oh, the lens is pushing too far out, there is a goose nesting in this foliage on top of the grocery store. Go dig that. They've done this every other year, and I don't know why it's every other year, but they do. And it's pretty cool. It's noisy, but it's pretty cool. But in this weather, you know, nothing is going to grow from natural sunlight on a regular basis, at least. So I have got to actually supplement with all this light. And I know that the lights I have are bright. They're extremely bright. You know, I've got 1,200 watts going at a time, and the lights themselves are intense, they're hard to look at, but they really do make a difference in the spring when you have the majority of your days being like this.